All right, traders, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon, April 22nd. Chuck calling out Boyle sort of popping. This NKGN just popping, right? This thing is making a pretty good push so far. I called this out just a few minutes ago at 224, right above Chuck's text there. Great to see Chuck. Great to see Grant, Leda, Philip, all of our students just joining us right now. Michael already giving me the green light, loud and clear from him, as I always say, typically. If I got one of us, I know I got all of us. So great to see Michael. Thank you for that. And all of our students otherwise, and all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Cyber Trading You. In the lower left there, you'll see pop up. Any of us new to our streams or social media there, just make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button, namely on YouTube. But with that in mind, though, folks, we got to move quick. This is making a nice pop. I just called it out before, but we do have class continuing. The Phase 1 stock course lined up this afternoon. So for students like Michael and Chuck and Alex, Kathleen, Henry, I believe I'll be seeing him there perhaps, and Matthew, and all of us otherwise. I mean, to pretty much most of our members here, you have access to the Phase 1 stock course. So, we'll be talking more about times and days of the week where it's more ideal to be trading and when it's more ideal to be sitting on your hands, right? Best and worst times of the day and days of the week to be trading. So I look forward to being in that class with most of us. But with that said, hey, hopefully NKGN can make a higher high and at least hold it here. It looks like prior to 8 o'clock had a couple big spikes, crazy spikes in pre-market up towards 185, 180-ish. There's a good chance to see that. There's a good chance to see two again, perhaps. I mean, if the stars could align. So I have no problem putting this on our list now. The reason I've called the stock out just before, and for students like Michael and Chuck, all of us here right now, again, I'm sure that everyone sees it. It's literally the most recent chat I made, at least prior to the meeting starting. But from 224 should be popping up on the top right of your screen right there. NKGN potential move up, looking to see 154 hold as support. And, just basing it off the time right there, it held perfect. Broke above, resistance became support, pushed up off of it a little bit. So this is a good trade for the time being, right? I'm going to put it on our watch list with that in mind. Now, this is a great day, not just because maybe this stock could pop, but this is a great trade just for a few different reasons. We had a great morning, right? A bunch of different trades from earlier. What did we have from earlier? The NIVF, the AGBA. We'll get to that, of course. But if we look at the SPY long term, what's happening is what we were hoping to see happen, right? Keywords hope. Obviously, we don't control the weather out there. So if the market were to continue dropping across this week, we'll have to react accordingly, right? React accordingly. But we were talking about this for the last umpteen weeks at this point. If you've been listening to these afternoon broadcasts or inside our live trading room, really since this big red candle, right? So maybe not that long ago, about 2 weeks ago at this point. But, essentially on Friday, SPY ended up breaking under the gap fill line here, 497 and change, ended up pushing back above it today. Does that mean we remain above it? No, that's not a guarantee. But if we close well above it today, it's a very good start. And we're off to it already here with the SPY up at 502 now at this point. So pretty good day altogether. Let's see it continue. Let's see more of it come tomorrow, or at least, higher lows at that point, right? So we're looking for a bounce. We are looking for a big bounce on this. That's the whole reason we were calling out the gap fill opportunity. And actually here, looking off of it, it held it pretty nicely as support, that exact line or point. Bam, right back up. All right, let me reset my platform here so I don't freeze on me here. 1 second. Let me just jump to a stock. There we go. So what we'll do is go from top to bottom here. I want to make it quick. We have students just waiting for class coming up, and I look forward to seeing most of us there. But what do we got? I'm just jack this up here. Just go from top to bottom. Now, I think that we'll be talking about this month coming up. I mean, rather even on Wednesday this week with the Phase 1 stock course. But this is not moving too well, is it? Right? It's a buyout. So once this had popped, of course, we're going to call it out because it's not that often we'll just see a stock gap up overnight like that, or suddenly prior to, I think what was this, midday? Wow, so it wasn't even before the market opened. I'm losing track of my chronology on the day, but it ended up making that big reopen mid-morning when we were on the microphone, at least Fausto and myself. So at that point, right, we were like, oh my God, what the hell is this? Well, once it started to flatten out, even for a couple minutes, we're like, oh, okay, something's up here. Something's a little fishy here. What's going on? It was really within the next 2-3 bars after that big one, you start realizing something isn't too right here. So with that said, we looked up the news. It was a buyout. I'm not going to get you the price per share transaction. It's not even worth it. You could just tell it's a buyout. We'll talk more about that pattern just in phase one this week with news. Now, this was a hell of a trade. We'll talk more about this in our workshop even tomorrow morning. So for John, he says, don't forget him. John, join us tomorrow. We got Traders Talk, our weekly workshop there. We'll go over the AGBA trade for you and all of our students here otherwise. And now at this point, it's more 50-50. Because not only is that up 90% today, the stock popped back from Thursday this week when it was like 40 cents, even from Wednesday's close. So it's up a lot percentage-wise from there. Not only that, it's just flat now. It's sideways. So if it pops, great. There's a case to see a higher high up towards 285, 290, I think, maybe even like 3. But that's where you have your next historical area on the trade. I was going over this with one of our new gold students earlier today. I'll be seeing them in class later on, I believe. Trading is revolved around 2 extremely important words. We go over this in our workshop tomorrow, every Tuesday. If, then. If this stock could pop above 250, then the probability of this making that better push greatly increases. We're not going to fly too close to the sun before that, though. We're not going to look to buy underneath resistance like that because look at how shaky it was before that point, even from earlier when it was flattening out right around $2, right? There could have been a couple of points where you could have jumped in, false breakouts, right place, wrong time. So here, with it up as much as it is now, eventually this is going to have a top, right? Much like every roller coaster has, much like every stock that makes this push has. So even with the break over 250, let's just make sure that could even hold as support. So I'll put this on our list, AGBA. All right. Stock that we're not going to put on our list, edible arrangements. Look at how crazy this daily chart is, just looking at the spikes and the long upwicks here. So that's not really our cup of tea. We're not really trying to go for a crazy, shiny object in the room type of trade. AGBA was as good of a trade to us as any. This popped up pretty nice, but the spread was uncontrollable, right? It was just all over the place. And now at this point, it's just flattening out here. So probably going to be a few brand name stocks that are up, right? We talked about the crypto miners with Bitcoin moving, or with the Bitcoin halving event happening on Friday into Saturday. It hasn't popped yet. We knew that would be the case, right? It wouldn't be like insta breakout to new all-time highs. Maybe a little process there, but the miners are benefiting a lot today. So we'll talk about Riot. We'll talk about Clean Spark, Marathon, all of those here. This poet trade, I bet you Fausto might be watching this on the sideline here only because it's like crawling on up right now, right? He was joking about that earlier. He was like, the only stock at the time that was pushing really then was Poet. With how slow it was. I'm going to pass on that, right? At least for now. We'll come back to it if we need to. But I'd rather a Riot. I'd rather a Hut, which is also a crypto miner. So we've gone over this so many times here that, hey, if you're new, and especially if you're on social media and you're not a member in our room yet, just scan that QR code, join us, especially for our workshop tomorrow. I'll break it all down there. But basically what I'll tell you is this. Riot's going on our list. CLSK is going on our list. We'll go Hut, and then we'll go Irene. Those are kind of my 4 Bitcoin miners for right now. There's obviously others. There's Coinbase as a whole, which is not a miner, but centralized exchange. I'm not going to be too jumpy towards Coinbase given the price normally, unless it's like moving as well as the SPY actually is right now. But I like the other trades that I just referenced, right? I know Kathleen was on Irene earlier today. That's having a pretty good day. Hut, like we talked about, Mara, and then the Clean Spark. Those are my and Riot. So I guess 5. Forgot to write Mara down of them. There we go. All right, so that was kind of quick. Now, if there's anything else looking good from the gainer side, definitely let me know, just because I do have to hop over to the losers list next. Also want to make sure our students are prepped up for class at 3 o'clock, 3:05. PDD, having a great day. This could easily just go right on our list right now. Not really as often that we're going to trade a stock this expensive, but whatever news may have come out on this trade, I remember we ended up trading them off their more recent earnings report. Thought it was the... Yeah, no. It was the big gap up here back from the end of last year. All right. So again, last call. If there's anything else looking good just from the gainer side here, folks, up 5% or more. ARM not really moving as well. There we go. All right. What goes up comes back down. TWG. You could say the same of the WISA here, as I was going to show, down like 22% basically right now. IZM's the crazy thing from like the other week. This thing, I guess, ran up. I don't even recall this thing running up as much as it did back from the beginning of this month. And all of a sudden, one morning we woke up early last week. I think it was down 90%, 92%. So that's the type of trade that you'll never forget, right? Man, how about Tesla? I mean, of all the stocks doing good today within the market, obviously with the news with Tesla doing price cuts on their inventory and even the, what was it, the FSD, the auto drive that they have, the self-drive. So with that, had a nice drop overnight. Did bounce off support early this morning. Not a whole lot to that chart, though. And I'm just showing the ETF for it, but Tesla chart, same thing here. Just look at gold miners out there. We looked at the Bitcoin miners, which are doing pretty damn nice right now. GDX not really doing as nice. I mean, at the lows right now, maybe I could even put that on our list as like a potential short. But for the time being, I'll tell you, I like what we got here. We got mainly those Bitcoin miners. If you don't like them, that's okay. They're just stocks, so it's not like it's crypto. You're not buying Bitcoin. Just trade it like you would any normal stock that we would call out, right? We'll talk more about that tomorrow in our workshop. But if you don't like the Bitcoins out there, it's all good. We got other trades out there for you. We got the PDD, we got the AGBA, we got the NKGN on top. Again, last call. If there's anything else looking good for all of us on YouTube, all of us in our trading room right now, definitely let me know. NKGN still holding here, a little choppy still though. It's got to make that better push, that higher high. Got a 21,000 share order here at 172, 25,000 share order here at 180. Just going through my own personal side list on my other monitor here. Nothing else really standing out from my side, so that's fine. One last call from Benzinga Pro, then we'll finish up. Just checking out this here really quick. Edible? Nah, we talked about that already. That thing is just a mess. SXTC, I don't think we checked that one out. I don't know if it's really looking too good. Nah, I don't really need to trade a stock like this right now. There's no traction on this here. All right, so folks, we're going to wrap up for the time being. Once more, hey, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, all of our social media streams there at Cyber Trading You. Be a friend, tell a friend. Always look to spread the good word of what we preach here, following the big money. Just scan that QR code. Otherwise, if you haven't joined our live trading room just yet for a week-long trial with us there for students like Kathleen, John, Grant, Lita, all of our students there right now, and most of us that will be joining me in class, I look forward to talking to you personally coming up at the top of the hour. Take care.